Hello, hello. Welcome to Crazy Games. We're back in Genshin Impact, and we've been asked to interview and rank 3 candidates for the Tianshu position for Uncle Tian, and Yelan was there. This is technically Yelan's story, and we're continuing Yelan's story is what I'm trying to say. Calculate a Gambit. Umbrabilis Orchis Act I, 7-star selection. Report the outcome of your inspection to Uncle Tian. With the inspection finished, it is time to return to Yanshan Tea House's 2nd floor to report to Uncle Tian. So yeah, there's no Primo Gems in this part of the quest, so there's still a lot left, as it seems. I wonder why there's stairs here and there's like a ramp here. Or is this for like carts? Tian, always getting in the way. Jeez. Uncle Tian, what you got for us? You tell Uncle Tian about the assessment process.
I see. Then it's more or less as I anticipated.
All right. Then let me ask this. The ideas in Zhiyi's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason behind this?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. But I can tell you now.
So in the last video, I was saying how like it's really obvious Zhiyi is the one that MiHoYo is writing to be the best candidate, and that the other two just seem like meh compared to Zhiyi. And I was saying like if that's the case, then it seems like for people who are trying to get a Qixing position, you would expect all 3 candidates to be very, very strong. Then they'll make the most sense, because we're assuming that Liyue Harbor is big and has a huge pool of competent people for the job. But then, for whatever reason, only one of them is competent, and the other 2 seems like not incompetent, but their quality doesn't fit the position, I guess. And that makes this entire world seem a little smaller if, like, out of all the people, only one of them is strong, and the other 2 is like mediocre. Like, and I went into how like, oh, is that the reason why only 3 out of the 7 Qixing is like actual people that works really hard? Is the other 4 just like being in the position just for like image? Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that I'm trying to make now is that it maybe because Uncle Tian actually favored Zhiyi anyway, and he just randomly picked 2 other dudes, like whatever. I know Zhiyi's gonna be the one that I want, but in order to seem like I'm fair, I need to at least provide 3 candidates. And he just like picked, oh yeah, these 2 or whatever. They're the closest, they're the most available or whatever. Not necessarily the best for the job, because he knows that Zhiyi is the best for the job. There's no point making the process harder for Zhiyi.
Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past.
Oh, okay.
It's only natural that they share some similarities with me.
Okay.
But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Of all of them, Zhiyi was with me for the longest duration.
Oh, so how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tian?
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my work. As for Zhiyi, that was pure happenstance.
I met him at McDonald's. He was ordering that one Pokemon Happy Meal, and I also like really Pokemon. And I asked him what Pokemon card he got, and he got the one I wanted, but then I got the one he wanted, and then we traded our cards, and then a friendship started budding right at that moment.
We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics.
Oh, they first met while fishing. Did they just decide to fish near each other?
Zhiyi came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. But he was a gifted student and a fast learner. He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quickly he got on.
Sounds like he's a friend to you. Sounds like he's family to you. Family.
Quite. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young man. It's a joy to see, but it also gets one thinking. The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies. No one can escape the cycle of life.
That's one thing I kind of noticed about, I guess, government recently. I don't know. Actually, maybe it's not like a recent thing, but I've noticed it recently. Like, there's constantly people talking about, oh, we gotta regulate video games and game development companies so that they don't have all these manipulative and terrible loot boxes and gambling and stuff. And we also gotta like help game development companies get like employee unions and stuff so that they're not always terribly treated and getting paid like terribly and having to do all these terrible things in order to, or having to deal with all these terrible things in order to work in an industry that they're passionate about. But then again, like if this was such like I'm guessing like whoever is watching this video right now, they probably hear a lot of these news as well. Like it seems like a really prevalent thing that for whatever reason just gets no attention when it comes to like government regulations and stuff. And I was thinking like, could it possibly be that all the people in power, like the members of parliaments or the members of legislative assemblies or the senators and governors and the prime ministers or presidents or whatever, they're just all in a generation that didn't really care about video games, and because they can only like put out policies on things that they know about, then they only know about kind of what they know growing up and stuff, and they haven't really put themselves into like younger people's shoes and know what kind of things that they're interested in or what kind of things they're worried about or what kind of challenges that younger people are facing in terms of like social challenges and stuff. Then because there's such a difference between what the younger generation experiences life versus the older generation that is in power, that's why like we keep hearing like, oh, we're gonna make abortion illegal or whatever, or we're gonna deal with drugs or whatever, and well, we gotta fight crime, and we gotta, I don't know, mess with houses or whatever, housing prices and mortgages and interest rates, and nothing really about like video games, because like video games is kind of prominent in the younger generation, even though it is affecting a lot of people nowadays because a lot of people play video games. It's just that the video gamer people are not represented in in parliament or in government, and that's why like it seems like the government just doesn't care about all the crazy stuff that game publishers and game developers seems to be doing to the public, just because the people in power just doesn't experience it. Or maybe they're the whales in these games and they're perfectly fine paying for whatever advantage or whatever they can afford it, so they don't care. And they kind of are in a position where it's like, oh, I can control it, so other people should be able to control their spending too, where it's not like as clear cut as it seems in reality. So yeah, my main point is that there's like a difference, and Uncle Tian here is saying like, oh, the young is growing up and the old is growing old, and in this context of this story, he's trying to find someone to replace him. And unfortunately, in real life, the older people are all holding on to power. So the voices of the younger people are not exactly being heard, or it takes a very long time. It takes for the time for the younger people to be able to get into power. And since like all the people are living longer and longer, people are holding on to power longer and longer too. So the younger people are having to wait until they're a lot older before they can take on to power. And at that point, it's like so many like years has passed, decades has passed of all this like terrible things happening. And then maybe like another 10 years, then we'll see. Well, maybe not 10 years, maybe 5 years. Next 5 years, maybe we'll see more attention on the video game industry. Since at that point, maybe just enough people are getting into the government to be able to kind of represent the gamers and the game developers that have to like deal with game publishers and the terrible, I guess, corporate culture of like game publishers and stuff. I don't know, let's just continue.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't such a bad thing. It just means I finally have a good reason to retire and spend my days doing what old men like me should be doing. Going fishing whenever I feel like it.
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tian.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make the most beautiful fish soup with barely any preparation required.
Fresh fish soup. Sounds tasty.
Fresh fish. Fresh fish actually tastes really good.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Zhiyi purchased a very special recipe from an old fisherman. When we've been fishing recently, Zhiyi always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in advance. The addition of these makes the soup taste even more wonderful.
How wonderful.
That flavor makes for a fond memory. But at my age, who knows how many more chances I have left to taste it again.
Very many chances, I'm sure.
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try it.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian, we've reported back. Do you have a verdict?
It seems like he already like wanted Zhiyi to be in the position in the first place, so
I appointed you as the assessment officer, and I trust your judgment.
Well, I picked Paimon. Paimon, you're a Qixing now. Excellent.
Had you not asked me why Zhiyi's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations and make your final decision only after a thorough review of each candidate's talents and capabilities.
Fair and right. You mean nepotism isn't a thing here?
Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood.
It turns out like Zhiyi has like some like really really bad thing that he doesn't like tell people, and even though he seems perfect for the job, there's like this one thing.
Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. Look after yourself.
Bye bye. You follow Yelan outside the tea house.
So, it's gonna be Zhiyi, right?
Roy,
His manifesto was written well, and he's the best speaker.
and he smells very very good, and I like his hat.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for this assessment.
Technically there is a time limit. I guess that's a kind of a bad joke. I'm implying that Uncle Tian could pass away at any time because he's old. It's an make fun of old people joke.
Huh? So, are you gonna give them more tests or something?
we're gonna make them fight each other.
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. Things are not always as they appear.
Oh, so Zhiyi has something, in some skeletons in the closet he does not wish us to know about.
The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get information through many different channels.
Interesting. Let's go do some intelligence work.
For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Whoa.
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
So yeah, like I know in the previous video, if you watched that, I've made like a really big deal about how Zhiyi is like the perfect candidate, and the other two are really sucky. But at the same time, like I guess at the time I wasn't anticipating maybe MiHoYo was purposely doing that in order to kind of lead me astray. And yeah, that's a really good direction, because then I really fell right into it. I was like, oh yeah, Zhiyi is the best out of this from what is presented. But then now we get to see how amazing Yelan is at kind of playing the 4D chess and being like that many more steps ahead. I guess it's easy to write the narrative to plan these things out. No, go away, random other traveler. I'm busy recording myself play this game right now. But yeah, like narratively speaking, this was like kind of like the adventure that I like about MiHoYo stories, where like it is so easy. They set like up the initial thing for you to fall into so well that when we are presented with more information and that our initial assessment is like not exactly right, and maybe in some cases just completely incorrect, and then the character you're like interacting with, in this case Yelan, is the one to point that out to you. It just makes that character's that much like cooler. I feel like they might have done that with Raiden Shogun's story too, because I remember I was really disappointed and upset about Raiden Shogun's like Act 1. And like, oh, she's so stupid, and she's just like caring. She doesn't know what a picture is or a photo. That's so stupid. She only cares about like dango milk. I thought she was like super powerful and cool and like a great leader. Well, what happened? And then I was really mad. And then Act 2 came around, and it like subverted everything, and it like redeemed the writers in my eyes. But after experience both Act 1 and Act 2, I kind of realized like maybe they did that on purpose. But then again, maybe it was like, we don't know. It's really hard to tell. I would like to believe that they did it on purpose, but it could also be the case that they did a really poor job, and they didn't double down on anything, and they just went like, oh, we got to do a better job next time, and then they redeemed themselves on the Act 2. But comparing those stories with a lot of the more recent stories, it seems like they've gone into a stride where they present something and then subvert it with the character. And Yelan here is like a perfect example of that, where, hey, Zhiyi, he may seem to have the best resume here, but there could be something behind the scenes that we might not have expected or might not have understood.
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various assignments as required.
Nice.
Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
Oh, is he gathering intelligence?
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work files.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
So what about Zhiyi?
Of course, we're going to be investigating him ourselves.
Zhiyi, well, obviously as the most promising candidate, We will be investigating him ourselves.
Hey, that's almost exactly what I said.
Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there. You can find out all kinds of things.
Ooh.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of Liyue Boutique? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for us.
That's actually not a bad idea. Let's go and ask him.
Ooh. A little bit of a mystery here with Zhiyi and his past. Will he be as clean as a whistle? Why is the expression as clean as a whistle? Will he be as clean as a whistle as we originally assumed, or does he have some skeletons in the closet that? Gosh darn it, Tian, and you too, Yi Chen. This time, if you haven't noticed, every time I walk in this area, I always purposely crash into Tian. But yeah, finishing my other thoughts, or does Zhiyi have some skeletons in the closet that...
Huh? What's Bulai doing here today?
Some skeletons in the closet that does not want people to know about. Hey, Bolai.
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsetias ever. You won't find anyone who disputes that. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Wait, what?
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet.
Oh, then sell it to him.
If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead. And neither of us wants that.
It's one of those things, what was that one subreddit called? Choosing Beggars, where it's like all these like Kijiji ads of people, so some person posts like maybe a laptop or something, and it's like, oh, I'm selling this laptop for $300, and some person would be like, can I buy it for $50? And then the person responds and it's like, no, I'm selling it for $300. It's already reduced. And the person's like, but I can buy it at this place for $100. So can you reduce the price? And it's just like, well, then go buy that laptop then.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept your asking price. I'll take all your stock. Don't sell a single one to Second Life.
Oh no, did Bolai just get swindled here? The trader who was negotiating with Bolai leaves.
Oh, what are you doing here?
We have some questions for you.
And to be clear, these Sunsetias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
I got more than enough in my bag.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Zhiyi. Have you heard of him before?
Zhiyi? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the local community. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but Zhiyi never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family.
What with what? He was also broke.
He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... oh, how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late. If I could hire him to be the brand ambassador for Liyue Boutique.
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Wow.
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't looking for a brand ambassador too, are you?
Something like that.
Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... Ah, that's Zhiyi right over there. Why don't we go and talk to him?
It's actually his choice who he wants to work for, right? Even if you pay him more, maybe he would like the title of Tianshu more than being a brand ambassador.
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, let's follow them and listen in. Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
Oh, what? We're just gonna tail him then?
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
Oh, I hate these tailing. If there was more like UI or more, what do you call it? More
So,
or
you're
better
looking to
indication
buy a wineware set?
as to what you can or
Now
cannot
I can
do.
see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
And it keeps saying, "Oh, you're too far away," but like I don't feel like I'm too far
The
away.
truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then. He fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Fakes? Is he bootlegging things? And there's never really...
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's
Like-
my pleasure, Mr. Zhiyi. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me.
Oh, I guess I got through that pretty good.
Zhiyi seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone thinks Zhiyi's a great guy.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually goes fishing.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Zhiyi because you want to be Tianshu yourself, are you?
If she wanted to be Tianshu herself, all she needed to say to Uncle Tian is that all three of the candidates suck and that she should be on the position. And then Uncle Tian already said he'd go with her word. So she doesn't need to do all these crazy things in order to play all these gymnastics in order to get that position.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, I'll look out for you guys. You'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
That sounds good. Uncle Tian can Yelan be Tianshu. I don't care about the other three anymore.
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
Ring! Go check on the South Wharf. Has this changed? Check the South Wharf candidature analysis. Yelan suggests going to the South Wharf to investigate whether people there have a different opinion of Zhiyi. There hasn't been any fighting yet. I was I kind of was curious as to how this Inazuma team would work. Wait, I thought it was just in this area, but it's actually all the way here. I should probably teleport. So one of the things about this team that I wanted to try out that I haven't had a chance to is use Raiden Shogun and have that eyeball and then switch to Yoimiya and do the overload reactions with these normal attacks and see how much DPS that would do or how comfortable it is to just kill enemies with that. But there hasn't been any fighting yet, so we'll just have to wait.
The wharf is as busy as ever.
It doesn't look very busy. There's like 5 people here.
I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers. Let's see what Uncle Soon has to say.
Talk to Uncle Soon.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Apparently the 2 fishmongers here like rigged their prices or something like that. I think I read some like them actually if you talk to them outside of the story, normally they talk about how like I think Uncle Soon purposefully like puts his, or maybe the other guy makes his stuff look bad Like he purposely puts out like ugly looking product and also sells it at like a way higher price just to make Uncle Soon here be able to sell more. And then they share like the profits or something like that because they're kind of like rigging it or something. We're here to ask you about someone. We're here to buy some information. No, we're not buying information. We just want free information.
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the Liyue Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about someone.
Oh, we're lying right out the gate. Okay.
We've heard about this young man called Zhiyi, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you happen to have heard of him?
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity without batting an eyelid.
Making up a fake identity is one thing, but actually being able to come across as the fake identity is another thing.
Ah, yes, Zhiyi. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally successful one day.
Yeah, we think so too.
Oh.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh. Give us the dirt.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do know a few top anglers I could put you in touch with.
He just fishes as a hobby with Uncle Tian, right? He never actually said he was a good fisherman or anything. Did he? I don't remember now.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Ew. He's like, oh, are you asking me out? No, I'm already married.
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Okay. Continue looking for clues at the wharf. Uncle Gao.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's the thing he says normally, I think. And that makes absolutely no sense, because 3 times 300 is 900, so you'd be paying more if you buy 3. When usually you'd expect to have a deal if you buy in quantity.
You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Wow, she switched identity again.
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything illegal. Stay out of my business.
I guess it is like... No, I think it is like somewhat misleading if you say 3 for 1,000 mora and 1 for 300. It's like if someone is not smart enough to know that, they'd be paying more. I don't know. It's a little bit more complicated than you first look at it. It's like, well, is he being deceptive, or is it like the consumer not being smart enough to see that or whatever? Because then that happens a lot where, I don't know, I guess people what's the word here, insinuate that McDonald's does this with their large fries and medium fries, where if you dump all the contents you get out of a large fries, it fits into a medium fries like case like perfectly. It doesn't seem like you get any more. And people have shown like cup sizes in a lot of like fast food restaurants too. You buy the large, you can like pour that completely into like a medium size. It's just like the shape of it looks taller, but it's also thinner or something like that, so it looks like it's bigger, but it actually holds the same content. So in that case, is it like if we're assuming that it is true that that's what they're doing with the cup sizes or whatever, is it on the consumers to understand like volume geometry and see through it and just order the medium one instead of ordering the large when you're getting the same amount of product? Or is it like a manipulative, deceptive practice on the company's side, and this is kind of like illegal in that sense?
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey.
Oh no, I hate surveys. Leave me alone.
We've heard about a certain Zhiyi who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you know anything about this?
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I can tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh?
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tian, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name.
Oh?
I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame.
Is he faking it until he makes it? Is that what he's doing?
And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him. That's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
I think you need to revisit the price of your fish before you go saying something is absolutely... that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay, let's keep going.
Wait, what was the quote that she came out with the last fisherman guy? Was it that he is not good at fishing? Who's this little kid? Do goo.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, honored to meet you. What brings you to me?
We have some questions for you, kid. Why are you bringing that knife around? You can't open carry. Do you have a license for that?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Really? People said I know everything there is to know?
He's just like a really young-looking old man. Just like how Ella Musk is actually like a really a really young-looking old lady. She's like the older sister to the researcher lady that's researching the giant tree in the... I don't forget what that place is called. Where the Statue of the Seven is, that giant tree outside of Mondstadt. Ella Musk is that lady's like older sister, but she's like a kid. She looks like a kid. And it's the same for this kid as well. He's actually like super old. He just looks like a kid.
But of course, we also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
But obviously, Yelan is just appeasing him.
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't know about.
Now she's lying to a kid.
But it seems to have made his day. I guess it's a white lie.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Zhiyi?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Zhiyi. For example, I can't remember.
He has a thing for feet.
Probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Zhiyi?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Zhiyi in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him.
Oh?
Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Oh.
Huh? What do you mean?
What's going on here? What has Yelan figured out?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu is indeed as kind and virtuous as the legends claim.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Zhiyi stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
It would be funny if Zhiyi like paid off a lot of people to like say good things about him or something like that. Just like how like there's like some influencers who they want to get like a head start or whatever, so they buy a lot, or they, I don't know if it's like a service or something where you can like pay into, I don't know, some like company or some service where they have like a lot of like accounts that they can just tell them all to like subscribe to a specific YouTube channel or like a bunch of comments, or I don't know, like retweet a bunch of tweets or whatever, just to like make it seem like the person who's trying to start out as an influencer is like a lot more influential than they really is. They're like buying likes and buying subs.
Oh, definitely.
Is that what's happening here with Zhiyi?
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yanshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Until we meet again.
He walks away.
Any of that sound strange to you?
I'm completely lost right now. Yes, I heard it. I'm completely lost right now.
Strange? What was strange about it? Zhiyi seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of him, and Dugu Shuo seems to like him too.
He seems to be purposely bribing people, and he seems to understand exactly what people want.
True, but the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
He made a wish in a fountain, in a wishing well.
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
He figured something out. He made a viral video and it put him on the map.
So he returns cruelty with kindness, and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. That's a little over the top, if you ask me.
Hmm.
Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Zhiyi's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from any normal person.
So everyone seems to be just saying he's really good, but they have no details about why he's good. It seems like people are incentivized to like say that he's good, even though they have no actual, they just know that he exists and that they would be rewarded if in some way or another if they say positive things about Zhiyi. But then since they don't actually have like experience or spend time with Zhiyi, they don't really have much to say beyond that about him.
Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Zhiyi has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
It's hearsay. I've been kind of sucked into the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, and objection hearsay has been like a a really popular meme.
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Zhiyi was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned.
Oh?
The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the mora to pay for a publicity campaign.
He's selling his body. Uh-oh. He has an OnlyFans account. That's making him a lot of money. People like his hat and his mustache. Someone's helping him. Uh-oh. Someone is putting him up. So he's like a puppet. Someone like did all the work for him and told him what to write and what to say, and actually did the manifesto for him too. Maybe he's working with someone. Someone's helping him.
Right. And that changes everything. It could mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liyue Qixing.
This is really good now. We originally thought Zhiyi, or at least I originally thought Zhiyi was the best candidate because he showed like the best manifesto and he had the best attitude. But if he's being directed by someone who knows the game, that would give him like a lot of advantage then, who actually knows like all the processes and everything and able to game the system, and that's why he's being so successful. Yeah, this is really interesting. I really like this. You don't really hear stories like this very often in like video games. You might be able to see a political story like this, like watching a Gundam anime, or I don't know, some like political anime. But then I don't really experience this kind of like political intrigue in games. I guess this game is very narrative driven. Like so far the actual gameplay that I've done is just walking from place to place talking to people, whereas a lot of other games actually have like a combat thing that they want to focus on over the narrative, or some sort of like gameplay loop. So yeah.
That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out to be closest to the truth.
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. What should we do?
We should just say Yelan is the best candidate for the Tianshu position. Just to quell any potential risks. Nip it in the bud, because we know Yelan is trustworthy.
Even if we asked Zhiyi about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
Unless Yelan is actually the one pulling the strings this entire time, and it's been like highest IQ big brain 5D chess move for her in order to become Tianshu and gain the respect of all the other people.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan.
Ooh.
Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key issues.
Okay, but we're not gonna put him into position just to see who he contacts, right? We don't want him to be in that position yet if we're not sure if he's actually safe. It's going to be taking a risk to put him in that position. So are we just going to find out what his plans are and who would benefit the most from those plans?
Whoever is secretly helping Zhiyi must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Zhiyi's manifesto on who we're dealing with.
Oh, let's go visit his manifesto again.
Come on. Let's get back to Yansheng Tea House.
That sounds good, Yelan. This is very interesting. Now is a good time to get into like a combat section with an assassin of some kind. Like whoever is directing Zhiyi is also like watching the people, the Qixing and the people of Liyue, just to see how they move, and they realize we're starting to get a little too close to for comfort, and they needed to take us up, and we get into like a fighting position so that we can at least get a little combat to split up all the dialogue. But no, not this game. This game is it's not afraid to just have you run from point A to point B talking to people, whereas like I think I mentioned this in the past too, in Guild Wars 2 they always like seem to squeeze a combat section here or there just to like break up the speaking and the dialogue and the narration and everything. Ooh, what happened?
Zhiyi's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Just use a magnet.
I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together.
Oh, okay, Yelan, this sounds fun.
Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we
Whoa,
can.
whoa. You said that there's no time limit to this in the last video I did.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Wait, was it the last? No, it was this video. She said there was no time limit, so we didn't have to rush.
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Zhiyi, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Oh, look at the little cat in the back there. Ring! Alright, let's sit down and, well, what does Yelan has to say? Yelan.
Made any discoveries?
Not so far, but we're still looking.
We haven't started looking yet, actually. I just want to see what you had to say. Let's sit down. Alright.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through.
Less talking, more working.
Well, we gotta start somewhere.
Sea, rock, and roads. Read Chapter C. Due to a variety of factors, sea storms have become stronger in recent years. I suggest we set up a special patrol unit to deal with sea monsters. The fleet should consist of the following. Covers various issues relating to coastal defense. Read Chapter Rock. Oh, if it's like the sea, could it potentially be Sneznaya trying to make it so that the coastal get people into coastal defense to be able to like infiltrate those establishments? Read Chapter Rock. Or maybe it's wrong to assume it's Sneznaya, even though in the past it's always been Sneznaya. Maybe one of the other nations. Maybe even like Mondstadt is trying to think of ways to invade Liyue. Dun dun dun. Nah, that's probably not it. Wouldn't it be funny if like Mondstadt turned out to be the most because of their freedom, they're the most like warmongering people. We just haven't seen that side of them yet, because what's his name, Grandmaster Varkas, has not been in the picture yet. Much of Liyue's folklore suggests that Rex Lapis left a great deal of wealth in the mountains in Liyue. However, due to obstacles hindering the excavation operations at the chasm, many projects have been called off. The workers of the Black Cliff Forge have been idle near the Golden House for a long time now. They should be given first refusal if any suitable projects arise. So first refusal is like they're giving the opportunity to accept it first, and if they don't want to accept the project, they get the first. They pretty much gets the first gets to pick first, and if they refuse it, then they go to the next company. I think that's what it means. Covers mining, tunnel reconstruction, and ruin exploration. So again, there's a lot of Sneznayans and Fatui in the chasm, so could it also be Sneznayan? Is Mihoyo leading me in one direction again, and it's gonna subvert it? It's actually Sumeru, dun dun dun. And then we're going to Sumeru in version 3.0. Read Chapter Roads. The treacherous terrains around Huaguan, Stone Forest, and Qingyun Peak means the area has weak support or transport links. The sheer mountain peaks are connected only by rope bridges. They are dangerous to walk on and wholly suitable to the transportation of goods. These areas are rich in medicinal herbs, and ore deposits. Building a road network around the mountains would be beneficial for everyone. Covers plans to build roads and bridges. Oh, this has nothing really to do with Fatui or Sneznaya. It might actually be Sumeru. Dun dun dun. Stop reading. Okay.
Oh, this reading is giving Paimon a headache.
It was just like 3 really easy paragraphs. Come on, Paimon.
Let's take a break.
Okay, Paimon.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua! investigating Qianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's not as bad as I thought he is then. If he actually, even though he's arrogant, he's still like able to get things done. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild is Xing Qiu, isn't it?
Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Oh, okay. So, he's just bad at first impressions then.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's accounts are open to the public.
Oh.
Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all.
Uh-oh, then someone can steal his identity. There is reason for privacy.
Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
Uh-oh, that might be like just arrogance and naivety. Someone might be able to take advantage of that information and use it against him.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but instead...
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh? Ah, how come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you.
Yeah, give us your report.
Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbo.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbo struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbo at all exaggerated?
I don't believe so. Mingbo is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Mingbo to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbo gave them the scolding of a lifetime.
Ooh.
Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper. I haven't seen it for myself, though.
Oh, Mingbo. He's starting to sound like the best candidates at this point. Because, like, Mingbo just takes a little bit of getting used to, but it seems like even though Qianwei, even though he seems like he's capable for the job, he's still, like, super arrogant, and it's, like, kind of a pain to deal with. And I guess Zhiyi, at this point, we can't say he's... Even though I know at first I fell into the MiHoYo's trap in believing he's the best. And it was, like, really good direction from MiHoYo, I guess, to be able to lead the narrative, like, leave me that way into the conclusions. Like, it feels like I'm making the conclusions, but really it was, like, set up so that I would make those conclusions by the writers, which is really, really cool. But yeah, he initially seemed like he would be the best candidate, but it turns out that there's nefarious stuff behind the scenes, and he might not be as he seems. So yeah, at this point, Mingbo. Mingbo seems the coolest, especially since we're hearing that people actually rely on him, whereas for Qianwei, he seems to still be working on his own, even though he's really competent working on his own. But when you're taking out leadership positions, most of the time, oh, I don't know, maybe there's an argument there that though he's super arrogant and stubborn and comes across really like abrasive, he might still end up being a really good leader. People might just have to get used to his personality, and after that, everything flows fine.
Whoa, that's hard to imagine.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
I have a friend that's like similar to Mingbo, where whenever there's like strangers or people that he doesn't know really well, he's like very soft-spoken and I guess introverted. But like with me and our like really the closest like knit friends, he's like the funniest person I know. Like just personality wise and everything. Like he doesn't purposely try and crack jokes. It's just the way he talks and he carries himself is like, it's just like his personality is like really fun to be around. But yeah, anyway.
Ah, so that's what you meant by that. Paimon's starting to get it now.
Thank you both. You're free to go now.
Interesting. Now we just need to find out what's up with Zhiyi.
So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
Yes.
We still have a bit left.
I mean, no. You finished reading the manifesto with Yelan.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Tianshu Pool redevelopment plan.
What's that?
Tianshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground.
Is that how you pronounce It's Ajdaha? I thought always pronounced it Azdaha.
At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Tianshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Zhiyi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto?
Read the Blackcliff Forge. The Rock chapter. Wait, is the Rock chapter the Blackcliff Forge one? Yes, it is. It's because the chasm was shut down and it left a lot of excavation teams bad. And the Blackcliff Forge should give first refusal to any projects.
Oh yeah! Zhiyi said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Zhiyi wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Tianshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Zhiyi's secret supporter?
Maybe?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
Ooh, interesting.
Qianwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Zhiyi? Is there another side to him too?
He has a mysterious past indeed. I think I'm gonna end things here. It seems like a good place to end it. I'm going to continue this in the next one. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Genshin Impact story videos, and goodbye.